Is it? I've never tried this live stream. I can pick it up. Oh, is it working? Can you hear me? Can you drop a message? I'm just trying to set this up. I have no idea. I have never tried this. Can you guys hear me? Am I audible? Okay. I'm just trying. I have never done this live streaming, so I'm just trying if we can do this. I don't know if people will join or not. I have something in my mind which we'll do in this stream. Let's see if we can get that working. I'm not able to open it on my phone. Maybe I should have seen some tutorial how to set this up. So you can try Visual Studio Code. I know Visual Studio is bloated. It requires very high configuration PC, but Visual Studio Code, VS Code works. Okay. So what we can do in this video, maybe we can try to build something live here. So right now, I am actually working with three different clients on three different terms. One, so I need to track the time for these different clients. So I just need to see how much time I'm spending with each client, each project. So one client I worked on hourly basis, so I need to work 2 hours daily for them. Then there is one client for which I have some days specific terms that I will work for 3 days or 4 days. Then I have one client for that. The projects are small, but these are direct project. Let I need to do this, so I can take my time. Maybe I can do it in 1 day or 2 days or 3 days or whatever time it takes. So what happens for this? I need to track times because I need to know that how much time I'm spending. So for this, I didn't spend much time, but I tried to use stopwatches, but these countdown timers and stopwatch. So these works. There is one site, vclock.me, vclock.com. So I use this timer, stopwatch. But the problem with this is I need to either open multiple instances of this, and then I need to maybe add some label here to see that what project this belongs to. I need to do this. I'll come here. I'll add a label or div element here. Inside this, I'll say, label text. Let's say A, this project A. So if I have multiple tabs open with this, then I can maybe check how much time I'm spending on some project. But all these things are not working for me. Not how it should work. But I thought maybe we can try to create a simple desktop application with this named label and timers. right? So maybe we can try building this simple application, nothing fancy, nothing complicated, just simple. We'll have an interface. We'll have maybe some sidebar where we can have multiple different timers with an option to create a timer, and then we can simply select a timer. It will load up in the main screen, and then we can simply start the timer. And we can have pause, complete, and close functionality as well. So this is what we can build here. Or maybe if you guys know something about some simple product which is free, of course, and it is here, maybe I can try to use that. Okay, so maybe we'll build this in this live stream. Right now, let me try to see that for memes is yes, Nico. Yes, I am open for freelancing. So you can send me an email. The VS Code ask for .NET Developer Kit. So you can use C Sharp Dev Kit, and it has a free tier as well. You don't need to use the paid one. You don't need to take buy the license for that. C Sharp Dev Kit is fine. You can publish MAUI control drag. I don't know. Maybe some third party tool might be there. I have no idea. For this drag and drop WinForm, like WinForm. Oh, developer kit subscription. You don't need to buy that subscription, Yashwant. So you can simply use the free version of C Sharp Dev Kit. Do you have contact via Skype or WhatsApp? Clockify is the best. Yes, I have used Clockify, but that is uh, for my simple use case. That is kind of overkill. That is complete timesheet management, right? Timesheet management, timesheet tracker, and all. I need just simple time tracking. How much time I'm spending on some product. That is totally for me only. सर आप ही वेब वीबी डॉट नेट एप्लीकेशन क्रिएट कर वीबी डॉट नेट और व्हाट आर यू सेइंग यशवंत वीबी डॉट ई टी इज इट वीबी डॉट नेट क्योंकि अगर वीबी डॉट नेट है तो वीबी डॉट नेट तो अब है ही नहीं ये तो काफ़ी पुराना हो गया ओल्ड है बिल्कुल कोई यूज़ नहीं कर रहा है डू यू हैव टाइम फॉर अ वन स्मॉल प्रोजेक्ट इन माउई यस आई हैव टाइम you can simply send me an email, then maybe we can share our contact details there, and then we can continue discussing further. Yes sir. Can you write me your email for Skype? I will send you documentation. I am not using Skype now. I have not used it for, I don't know, for last couple of years. I have used Skype in maybe 2021 or 2022 last time. I use MS Teams. You can get my email from my channel only, and you can simply send me an email, and then we can discuss further there. We have is the second person control meeting or what? All right. So should we start building that simple named labeled timer app? And I'm thinking maybe I'll try to implement it using Blazor Hybrid for desktop app. So it will cater both. So using Blazor inside Maui. This is I like it and design flexibly for this. I will send you an email, but always like to have direct contact. Yeah, but you can send me an email. Then from there we can share our contact details there, right? Let me open up Studio, create a new project. Okay, I'll send you an email now. Thank you. All right. So .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app. All right. Maybe let's say labeled timer, something like this. Next, .NET 8 or .NET 9. Let's use .NET 9. Create. So do you guys like .NET MAUI with Blazor hybrid or .NET MAUI using that XAML? I like both. When I'm working with Blazor hybrid, I like that most, and when I move to the MAUI with XAML, then I like that one. So I like both actually. Right now, also I'm working with three projects. One is Blazor for web, then one is Blazor hybrid mobile app, then one is .NET MAUI XAML. Okay, do you like to make live stream that you discuss with us your opinions about Blazor hybrid? Maybe I can try. This is my first time when I'm trying something live. I don't know if how this live stream work. I have seen couple of live streams and now I'm just trying to see if I can maybe do this. And yeah, we can discuss. You have some questions. Maybe we can have this regularly, weekly or something like that. You guys can maybe comment here and you guys can let me know if you like this, then maybe we can make it on regular basis, weekly maybe. We'll have Blazor hybrid mode. The only problem with Blazor hybrid is the hot reload. Maui XAML has the best hot reload experience. It is instant always on all the devices, whether it is physical device, emulator, any, whether it is Android, Windows, iPhone, it works everywhere. But Blazor hybrid, if you are making change purely in a global CSS file, then it works directly. But if you are making any change in any other Razor file or any those isolated CSS files, then it does not hot reload. And if we try to manually hot reload, then again it takes ages to load up. And most of the time, it says that it can't hot reload. Just disable the hot reload and try to rerun. That is very bad. That is the thing which I don't like. I actually hate. What is the main difference between Blazor Hybrid or MAUI XAML for mobile application development? So the only difference is the way we design our UI. I have created a video in the past. So there is this misconception. People think .NET MAUI is just XAML, XAML. But that is not the case. MAUI is a, we could say, is a framework, is an API layer which sits between your code and the native device. It gives us access to the device specific things. It gives us access to all the sensors or all entire device actually. Whatever we can get in our desktop or mobile application, it gives that layer. And on top of that, we design our UI. Now, for UI, we can have three different ways by which we can design our UI. So most commonly used is XAML, XAML. So using XAML, we can have our UI designed there. Then using Blazor Hybrid, we can have again our UI. Then we can have our UI purely in C Sharp as well. This is the main difference. Blazor Hybrid, you can reuse your Blazor knowledge for developing UI, doing most of the stuff. You can do everything. Whenever you want to connect to the device, if you want to access some sensor from the device, you need to access something related to device, whether it is let's say network status, camera, SQLite database, or any database, any local database, file system, and any of these device specific thing, then you will connect to .NET MAUI, that API layer, which is already there. It is accessible throughout our application. You can use that. and we can design our entire UI, complete UX, all the business logic, everything we can have in Blazor. Speed Blazor hybrid versus MAUI accessing device sensor. So again, because when we go with XAML, so that is just UI. In that case also the things, the operation, the flow is same. So let's say this is XAML, this is Blazor hybrid. So these are on the same level. Then we have a top level layer, which is actually .NET MAUI layer, which is going to connect with the device. So our XAML and our Blazor hybrid both are at the same level. So they connect with the .NET MAUI middle layer, the same level. So the speed performance to connecting with the device sensor, that is same. Okay, and if you are good at CSS and HTML, you can use or you can give. So the main thing is look and feel here, because using .NET MAUI with XAML, it actually uses the device specific components. Let's say we are using a button, so we will directly use XAML button, and this button is going to be translated on Android as the Android OS, on iOS as the iOS look and feel. In Windows, it is going to be rendered as Windows specific button. So the look and feel will be platform specific. But when we are working with Blazor Hybrid, we will use a HTML button. So if you can give it look and so feel is a totally different thing, but look, you can provide it using the, if you're good at CSS, you can give the same look. And when it comes to feel, so I have seen it is pretty smooth. So in XAML there is a problem with collection view, but you can get rid of this thing if you are using Blazor, because in Blazor you can have any collection using simple ULLI div or anything. Then you can have virtualized lists. So in virtualization is also a concept in Blazor for long lists. So the the feel is better if we have complex collection view items. It works better as per my experience. It works better with Blazor Hype. Okay. Is anything Blazor Hybrid cannot do that Maui can? Right now, I don't think there is something which Blazor Hybrid cannot do that Maui can. Maybe there could be something. Right now, I can't think any of these things. Just want to say thank you for all of your videos. Thank you. I actually like to code. I have been coding for almost 13 years now. So it might sound uh, maybe something different for a lot of people, but coding is my stress buster. Whenever I am stressed out, simply go to my laptop and I will just start doing something. I love to code. So just sent you an email and I got your email. Okay, so maybe after this live stream, I'm going to reply. I got your email, right? Okay, so where were we? We had our label timer application. Let me zoom it so that you can see it. 146%, 5%, right? Okay. As I already mentioned, we are going to have a simple, maybe let's see this thing, this Visual Studio screen. We have this right section and then we have this main section. So this main section, main screen, here we are going to have the name of the timer, and then the timer will go on here. And on this right section, we are going to have a simple text box to create a new timer. Then we are going to have list of all the timers, and tap on those timers and those are going to be load up here. Okay, so first let's maybe try to create the menu. It is going to have only one page, right? Let's do on home page only. Before that, let's go to the layout. We are going to clean our entire layout. We don't need anything. We'll simply remove everything. We'll just have at the rate body, nothing else. Nav menu, we can get rid of nav menu. Weather page, let's delete this weather page. And we have this counter, let's delete this as well. Routes is fine, imports is fine. The main layout which has just body, nothing else. Then we are going to home.razor where we are going to our entire application. Save it, and after that we can go to the main is CS Pros, and from here we can get rid of all the platforms which we are not building for. We are building this as a desktop app, so we'll remove the mobile specific .NET 9 Android, .NET 9 iOS. Let's get rid of these. We will have Mac Catalyst. We will have right. Scroll down here. Also, we are going to have iOS. Let's move the iOS. Then Android, Mac Catalyst, Windows Tizen. Get rid of. And all right, save everything. So let's quickly try to run this. We'll see. This is just running. Will not do anything. We should see empty screen. Nothing. Alright. Do you have any video on using location sensor with Blazor Hybrid for a mapping app in real time? So I have tried this in couple of months back. So we can use geolocation API which .NET MAUI provides. We can have it both ways, geolocation, geofencing. So we can have the coordinates from the device in real time. We can get the coordinates on the basis of some location, and we can get the location using the same the address. Now for Blazor hybrid, for some of the so here is the app. This is simply empty, nothing is there. We will simply start building. So for couple of elevated permissions, we need to have some additional code to allow the permissions to flow from Blazor hybrid to Maui. So if you guys know how the Blazor hybrid works, there is going to be .NET MAUI app shell. The container is going to be of .NET MAUI. Then inside .NET MAUI, there is going to be a web view wrapper. This is different from the web view control. For Blazor, we are going to have that Blazor web view, which is works a bit different than web view. So this is going to be a thin version of the browser's device's default browser. So when we use any permission related stuff in our application, whether it is maybe camera permission, sensor permission, or any other permission, so the permissions, these are going to be raised by two different ways. We can either have these as using JavaScript permissions. So whatever we can use in browser using JavaScript, that is one way. If we are doing that, then we need to flow those permissions out of that Blazor or that browser to our .NET MAUI application. We need to write some small code for this. But for most of the sensors, whatever we'll need for camera, for location, for other device specific APIs, I guess, we can directly have these permissions, environment specific or the device specific permissions, we can have without any additional code. Maybe we can try creating multiple apps using all the sensors one by one. What do you think? Yeah, maybe we can try this. Not right now, but we can try this. So let's we will do a video about auth where we have API and log. So I have this thing, Cosmin. So I have these things in parts. We could say we have implemented auth separately in Blazor. We have implemented auth separately in .NET MAUI. I have multiple videos for this. Then for social media account, social login. So login with Google. I have it with the Blazor WebAssembly. So it will be somewhat similar in the this .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid. I think I have tried some time ago, and I was having some issue with the web authenticator for login with Google. Then I have not tried it. Maybe I can try this login with Google in .NET MAUI. Yeah, maybe I can try it again. Yeah, I'll do it. Maybe I can note it down. This is going to be a good. All right. It's up to you. Whatever you want to use. For these projects which I'm building in here in YouTube, I use SQL Server. For my local development, I use SQL Server. For most of my clients, I use SQL Server. But for my personal projects, I use Postgres because I have Linux VPS server. There we can technically run SQL Server in a Docker. I tried it. So I was having a different, strange error. The Docker container, it goes off for SQL Server. All other Docker containers were working fine, but the SQL Server one, it simply crashes randomly. Maybe sometimes after 3 days, sometimes after 5 days. Although I had that restart logic, if it goes shut down using by any means, it should simply restart, but that does not happen. Maybe I'm not a very proficient with Docker. Maybe there was some other problem, but I couldn't get it working the way I was expecting. So the using PostgreSQL, it is best. And with Entity Framework Core, it is even easier. There is no problem with this. We can simply have the different connection string and everything works out of the is actually great. So for my personal projects, I use PostgreSQL. That is free, open source. You can use it on local, you can use it on server, any server, Windows, Linux, any server, without any problem. Have you worked with MQTT clients? No, actually. I have worked on Kafka on one of my previous organization. Hey everyone, हमारा .NET uh, this is a bit different because the way when we go with web, there are multiple things. We deploy APIs, we deploy UIs, we have a lot of things going on web side. But when it comes to MAUI, the mobile development, the API is the only thing which goes there, right? Or maybe we can have some test runners. These are the only. So this is going to be a different topic. Maybe we can touch this sometime later today. All right. Okay, so we have our Visual Studio here. Let's try to get that working. First thing, we want to have two sections. So here, I'm simply going to have simple container fluid. This is Bootstrap, which is default in our .NET or Blazor application or all the Blazor applications. So container fluid, which is going to take the entire screen. Inside this, we are going to have this left screen, which we can have. So this container fluid is takes entire screen. Then we have a row, and the bootstrap uses 12 column grid. This row we have 12 columns. 9 columns we can get for this left section, and then 3 columns we can get for the right section. Okay, do this. We'll say div class call sm9. Then we are going to duplicate this call sm3 is this. this section, right section, and 9 is for this left, right? And this 9 section, let's have some light background here. So we'll say BG secondary, which is going to be a dark gray kind of background. But the way these bootstrap classes work, these uses the CSS variables. So here we can simply override the background opacity for this thing. Ideally, you can have it in some separate CSS file, but because this is simple, you can have it where we'll say, I think it is BG opacity. So BS stands for bootstrap, then BG opacity. Here we can play around with different values. We'll see what it is. And then we want this to take the entire height. For this, we can have H100, height 100%. Or we can have VH100, that is viewport height. That means the entire screen should take the entire height. On this call SM3 also, we can have VH100. And here we can have the default VGY. All right. And then let's have some padding in both of these sections. So P3, and then in first one 3. Then let's have some heading here. In the first one we'll say, and then in this second thing here we'll say some simple P, let's say timer creation and timer, save it. Have you noticed chat in your project restaurant? Many people ask why Toast didn't work in Windows using .NET 8 or .NET 9 for work. It's strange. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I need to check if that is not working. Are you guys having some problem or what? I tried it on my Windows machine. I tried it on my Mac. It worked at both the places. Maybe so. What I don't get notifications for my previous videos. Most of the time it happens. I don't know if it's something like the YouTube works. I have no idea. But if that is the case, I can try. I can try to run it again. Zimbabwe. So maybe, yeah, one more thing. I see some people say that something does not work, not related to this restaurant application. Sometimes people say that some of the projects are not working .NET 9, which we built in .NET 8. So maybe we can do this. Maybe I can have a separate video series where we will pick all our previous version projects we have been building since .NET 6, .NET 6, 7, 8. We can maybe migrate all those one by one to .NET 9. What do you say? What do you say? Should we do it? Can you guys still hear me? Saying something. Yellow warning. YouTube live streaming. It says that it cannot get enough video stream, something like that. So, can you guys still hear me? Yeah. Okay, so this is how it looks. Not very good, but not very bad either. Do you see? We have these two sections here. We need to have this thing as some more light color. So for this, we can increase this opacity. So not increase, just decrease. Maybe 0.2. Let's see if it picks it up. No, it won't. Let's try to hot reload. Applying code changes. Let's see it is applied. Yes. Okay. Is better than before. Or maybe let's try if we say 0.1 only. Then how would it look? more lighter version. Code changes were applied successfully. Maybe it right. Okay, we can see this. All right. Now let's try. I don't know how should we set this this thing. All right. Here the second section. What we are going to have first, we'll have a box where we are going to have a text box and a button to create a time. Okay. So let's do this. Here we can simply have a div class flex box. So display flex with a gap 2. Then we are going to have two columns in this. We are going to have div class. Here we are going to have div. We can directly have an input box here. Input type text, which is default. Then we are going to have a class from control, and we are going to have a placeholder here. Say enter timer name, some save it. And then we are going to have a button here. Button type button classes btn primary for now. Okay, and here we'll say add. Save it. Try to hot reload. Hope it works. Reload. Trying or it no code changes were found. No code changes were found, but we made the changes. That means we need to rerun it. Let's try to run. Code machine, and we have this add, right? We have this enter timer name, and we have this type something, and it should here in this list. Okay, all right. Then let's quickly create simple collection here. We'll say at the rate code. Here I'm going to have a private list of strings. List of string. Here we can have let's timers with the default value as. And if you guys follow me, consider this as class, and these are class level variables. I simply use the underscore the variable list timers. Then we can have the current timer name. We can have private string underscore timer name. We will move these things to separate components. We are going to have multiple components. The overall page will be one, but we are going to have multiple components. Okay. Right now I'm having everything here only. Then we'll try to move this. So this is timer name, which we are going to bind with this input. Okay. This input, we can say at the rate bind equals this timer. So using this at the rate bind, now we have two-way data binding for this timer name with this input text box. So if we say, let's say in this, we, if I'm saying this initial value, it will be automatically shown inside this. And then whatever thing I do inside this, then if I try to see that thing on this add button, it will have two-way data binding. Or I can show you here only. Let's say I'm having this p here, and here if I say underscore timer name, okay, it should automatically update whenever we are typing it. Try to rerun this. Is it still working? One question: what do you think about code behind versus MVVM? Personally, I think MVVM is more verbose, but code behind little people use. So I used code behind today also for one of the client that was a very small app. I used code behind after a long time. I used to do code behind with web forms in my college final year, then in my first or second jobs for quite some time. I used to like that code behind. But now with Maui, when I started with Maui, I have been using MVVM. So I like this MVVM. So the approach, it totally depends how you are comfortable with. And then it comes to if we use code behind, it is good if we just want to quickly set up some things without any additional dependency and additional flow. It works directly. And if we don't want, if we are not concerned about separation of concern, if we don't want to have our UI logic, UI layer totally separate from the code layer, business logic layer, then also code behind works, or it works for best for small applications, I would say. MVVM, I usually use it with all my Maui application. I just recently used this code behind for an application saying, but apart from this, it totally depends how you're doing it. If you have your testing related stuff, you want to test it, if you want to have totally both of the things separate, if you have a larger application, then MVVM is going to help you a lot in long run. You can have some centralized logic, you can have some separate logic, you can have some base related logic, and a lot of different things. Mr. Pickles is continue. Right, where is our application? Here you see we have this initial value. This was from C sharp code to HTML. Now let's see if I try to add something here. Nothing is happening. Why nothing is happening? This is how uh, bind works with input controls, the default at the rate. It will work if I come outside of this. And it is right now if I'm doing this, nothing is happening. If I click outside, then we can see this is the default on change behavior. So if you are familiar with HTML, we can have different events. One is on change, one is on input. This by default it works with on change. Changes get triggered when we are blur out or focus out of that. Then on change is going to be triggered. Then it will simply update this value C sharp side that we get it, and we can change it to work on input as well. But we are okay with this case because we want it the button click. This was the thing which I was just showing you, that this enables two-way data bind. All right. Okay. Now what we need, how we can get initial value, save it. Now what we need, whenever we click on this add button, this timer name, whatever timer name we have, it should get added to this timers collection. Okay. For this, let's quickly create a method here. So we'll say private void, let's say timer. Okay. In here, first thing, we can have a simple validation if timer actually has some value. If we don't have anything and we try to press the button, nothing should happen. We have two approaches. First is we can disable this timer button. We can simply have something like this, disabled equals, and here we can have our logic. Logic is going to be string, and the IntelliSense is not working, null or empty, or is null space. And here we can simply pass the name. So it will be disabled. It should at the rate disabled. It should be disabled. Not that can have this property. It will be binded with this. So if timer name is null or white space, then it is going to be disabled. Button is going to be disabled. But if somehow it get bypassed, then we will have that additional check here, this add timer method as well. Here we'll say if string dot is same thing here. If this is null or white space, we are simply going to return. We are not going. If that's not the case, that means we have some value in this. We just want to add that timer name, this underscore timers. We'll say underscore timers dot add this underscore name. By doing this, we are going to reset the timer name. We are going to set it back to empty. All right. Now we are going to have this timers collection ready, which we can display here. If let's maybe have one HR tag to give a horizontal line here, then we can have simple UL. We can design it further. Here we'll have a simple for each loop where we'll say var t or timer in underscore timers. Then we are simply going to have li, and here we are going to display timer name. Here we can maybe have h4 5 at the rate timer, which is actually timer name. Save everything. Let's try to see if we can get, oh, we missed. So we missed to bind that method with this, right? We have this add timer of the add timer. We need to use this add timer method on this button. We can simply click at the rate on click. Hang up with me at the rate on click because we need blazors on. We remove this at the rate, then this is pure HTML JavaScript on. This is not what we want at the rate on click, which is going to be a Blazor specific. Here we are going to call this timer like this, save it. Let's run the app again. Okay, so I posted a poll in my community a couple of days back for a beginner friendly Blazor course. I got a decent response, but not what I was expecting. Maybe if maybe I'm going to drop same poll again. If there are enough people who are willing to pay, of course, for a beginner friendly Blazor course, what I was planning, because I have seen, uh, I have I'm spending so much time on Reddit. There are a lot of people, not only freshers but the experienced ones. So they are confused with Blazor, mostly that static SSR and all. They try to do interactivity in non-interactive. That is for me, because I am working Blazor for last couple of years. I have started with Blazor 6, Blazor WebAssembly, Blazor Server. So I saw how these things are changing, how these things changed in .NET 8. We had the different version. But right now, if someone comes, they try to create a new Blazor application. The Blazor web app is the default template, and interactivity word, and that thing is a bit complex or confusing for a lot of people. They go with the default setting and they create it. They simply go to the project and create a new component. They try to do all these events and all these things, and these do not work, and these are not going to work because by default, if you don't have global interactivity, all the pages are static SSR by default. That means there is no interact. So anything after the on initialized async and on parameter set, nothing is going on. After render is not going to work. All the event handlers you will add, those are not going. So there are these confusions. So what I was thinking, maybe I can create a detailed course, make it beginner friendly, and there we can start from the all the Blazor render modes and all. Blazor static SSR, Blazor server, the one uses Signal R, Blazor WebAssembly, standalone WebAssembly, and then maybe Blazor hybrid as well. So that is what I am thinking. So if I get decent response, then maybe I can plan out a video. So I need maybe around at least 1 week to plan the thing. And then I like to have the live sessions because using live, you can ask your doubts right up. We can have a conversation. So that approach I like most. So maybe what this is what I was thinking. Maybe I can plan it, then I will have everything, the pro forma and how the things are going to work. I will have those things ready, and then maybe I can start a live course. Then maybe we can also record it for, then we can maybe post that somewhere. I don't know. I have not nothing in my mind right now, but these live sessions, this is what I was thinking. All right. Hi, sir. I'm currently working as a software engineer. I'm following .NET Core Web API in Blazor was clients guide me which new latest technologies I need to learn. This is subjective and it depends on a lot of things. When you say latest technology, that means .NET world or in general for job specific reason for your hobby projects, or what is the main goal? It going to depend on all these things. Okay. Yeah. So what is your end goal? What do you want to say? Okay, let's see, where were we? We are here. Timer name one. Okay, this is thing. If I add, thing happened. Timer one is here. Did I add it outside of this? Maybe I added it outside. Fix this. But right now you see this button is disabled because condition is. Then I'm going to have timer two. Press outside, click outside. Then we are going to. This is not a good experience. It should work right away. Whenever I'm typing, event should raise. Let's do this. And then let's move these things here. Right? Close this. Open up Visual Studio again. Here. Maybe let me do this. Let me close the Visual Studio and open it again to get these IntelliSense and all working. Okay, is it working now? Laser, these color and all these things, it takes a lot of time. Sometimes I need to close and open Visual Studio a couple of times. All these issues, these are getting worse with all the new releases of Visual Studios. I don't know why they are not fixing or what is happening. I see now at least we here, so that means these things. All right. So as I mentioned, by default, this bind works with the default change event. Whenever the change event is getting triggered on box, then the value of this HTML timer going to be set into this timer name C# variable. Now what we need, we don't want it on change. And on input, the change triggers when we move out of the text. So what we need whenever we are typing, it should trigger the event right away. For this, what we have in here, we have bind, then we can have this bind colon event. Here we can provide the event. Event name is input because on input is the event which getting gets triggered whenever we type anything inside it. Okay, save it. And there was one more issue, right? The timer names, this HR and all. This should have been inside call sm, this one. If that, save it. Let's try to run it. Now we should see desired out. Okay, is it still working? So there is no comment, and I have no idea if this. Please, someone please drop a comment saying that yes, we can hear you. And we can see this enter timer name. We have the add button. Now if I try to type something, nothing, still nothing is happening and it is broken. This should be on input. On input. Run it. Let's see if it works this time. Okay, let's do this. Yes, it is working. You see, if I remove everything, this is disabled. If I start typing, this gets enabled. Now, let's say timer 1, press add. This timer 1, second timer, have this second timer. These things are working. Third timer, add it, and we can see this. After adding these, this value gets cleared. The basis of this add button gets this, right? So this all these things. Cool. So the functionality is working. The basic functionality. Of course, we are not worked on everything. We need to design it a bit further. We need to make it clickable. We need to remove these things. Then we need to persist these things. These all these things we'll do later. Right now, we are trying to see if this is a good start. Now what we'll do, we'll simply move this section to a separate. Okay, let's do. In this, we have this layout, we have these pages. In here, we can have one more folder. Can have, I used to have these as components, but now because components is already taken, I usually use shared, although these are not shared, but here we'll say component, and we can name it right sidebar, maybe timers collection, or what should we name it? It is the timers section on the right side, right? Timers name, adding a timer, and timers, all things. That's a timers section. Bad name, but let's go with this. We have this timers section. Cool. Now we'll go back to our home page. We are going to grab everything inside this call sm3. Going to cut this section, paste this inside timers section. Then I'm going to grab this code section entirely, cut it and paste it here, because whatever we had in this timer, this code block, all these things were related to this main timers. Save everything. Then in here, in the main right section, this call sm31, we are going to get this timers section, timers section. Because we created this new folder shared, so the namespace for this is this entire thing. It is not already there. That's why it is taking this entire name. So we can get rid of this and say control dot, control period, and we can add this using state. But we are going to have, yeah, we only have one page, so it is fine. But in a big application, you might want to use these namespaces and all these components on different multiple files. In that case, you can move these using statements underscore imports. This is kind of a global imports for all our Blazor components. We have some using here. All the things which are in that namespace directly access all the components. We can access this timer section. Now if we run it, should look and behave same without any problem, without any change actually. Okay, please, if you guys are still here, if you guys can hear me and see me, please drop a comment, because I have no idea if things are working or not. It shows something, it shows concurrent viewers 8, but I don't know if. All right, so application is here. Try to add something, 1, 2, 3, add. See, we can see this. That means things are working, still working. All right. Now we'll enhance it a bit. We can have the list of timers outside of this timers, or maybe we'll see if we need to do that. Maybe later when we'll work on this section, then we'll see. Right now, we'll enhance this a bit further. Right now, we need to click on that add button. If we press enter, nothing is going to. Let's handle that enter key press as well. Right. So if you go to this thing, whenever we are typing anything in this input, and if we press enter, it should trigger the same add timer method, and it's the timer should get added to the same this underscore timers collect. Okay. That also to implement it here, button input. Here, what we can do, we can simply say at the rate on key down, on key press, on key up. We can this on key press here. See, this is an event callback of keyboard event. We can have a method here, private void handle key press. It should have keyboard event args key, and then we can simply use this method in this on key press. All right. Now in this keyboard event args, if we go trying to press F12, nothing is okay. It happened. Here we have this string code. So these are the key code and key name, all these things. We have a lot of information. If we are repeating this, if this is control key, shift key, alt key, meta key, a lot of types and all these. So we will use key or code, one of these. Let's see key. I think this key, this is going to give us the name of the key we are pressing. We can quickly check it out. Here we'll say simple string key dot key. Then let's duplicate it. Here we'll say e dot code, and we can say let's put a breakpoint here, run it, and here I'm going to click on this and I'm going to press enter, and then we'll see what we are getting in key and what we are getting in code for enter. Pressing enter, it came here. Key, it says enter. Text and code says enter. Both of these are same. Why? I know. Maybe we need to check. You can try with other key code values, other combinations, then you will see what is key and what is code. Let's use this e dot key only. Here we'll simply say if e dot key equals enter. If this is enter, then we are simply going to call this add timer method. If that is not enter, we will not do anything. Let it pass. Let it do whatever is the default. Stop everything and let's try to run it again. Now, if we press enter, this add timer should be called, and we should have some comments are automatically deleted by. Yeah, I have idea. I have no. Okay, we are here. Try to add some gibberish. I'm pressing enter and we can see that added timer. Let's say timer. Press this button, then also. So that means all these functionalities work. We can get our enter key working. Hi from Turkey. Hello. ARMM dot name. This is your key code. Right? All right. So this thing, fine, not very good, but at least we can get something. Let's see what next we can have. Now we need to make these timers clickable. When we are clicking on any of the timer, it should get loaded in the right side. Okay, that thing we need to work. Now, the timer name, it can be duplicate. So we need to have some unique identifier for our timers. That means a string should not be here, it should be some type. Okay, here we can simply have class. Maybe outside of this we can create a models. Here I'm going to create a timer. Now timer is a class that exists .NET, so we will name it something else, maybe labeled time. This is our application name, labeled timer. So let's say app timer. Okay, this is something will not clash with any app timer. Here we can have properties. First we can have a GUID, then we can have string name or label or name, and then for now we are okay, and we can have one more piece. We can have date time created at, if you want to track some thing if when this timer was created. It is totally up to you if you want. And maybe let's keep it simple. We'll only add what we actually need, so we will have it as thin as possible, as slim, right? Give this app timer id and name. Okay, right? Then we can have a helper method here, public static app timer create. App timer dot create, we are simply going to have name as a parameter here. From here we are going to return this instance of this thing only, app timer. And for id we are going to have a default id here, so guid dot new guid, guid dot new guid. The name is going to be this name. Save it. And so this is totally optional. I like to have this approach, static factory pattern, to create these instances of these. So instead of saying this new timer, I will simply say app timer dot create. Okay. Now let's go back to our compare timer section. Here we had this timers. Now instead of this string timer, we are going to have app timer. This is going to be come from this namespace, this new namespace, new folder we added. This thing we are going to use in multiple files. Better to move it to underscore eraser. Here, then we can directly access this. We have this app time. Cool. Now we don't need to change other things right now, but we need to just change this timers. Here, what we will do, instead of directly adding this under timer name, because initially earlier it was just string, but now this is app timer, so we need an instance of this app timer. We'll say app timer create. Here we'll just provide timer name. It is going to create a timer instance for us. It is going good now. Now we have this timer. Here in this we can get timer dot. Everything is still going to be same. If I run it, work, same it was working. We are just having it bit organized and structured because we are going to get we are going to tap on any timer, it is going to load up in the main screen. So we need to have identifier which will tell okay this timer is. We are going to have other values as well later. We need to track what is the current running value for this timer and all, because we can switch, we can run the timers and then we can switch around these timers while these are running. We need to have different properties which we'll create later as we proceed. Okay, right now same thing. Number one, see this, two are still same, nothing has changed. Cool, save it. Now we are good to change this thing to some uh, clickable, time tappable kind of thing so that we can tap on it, click on it, and it should the main screen. Okay, so that we need to. Are you guys still here? Do let me know in the comment if this is how we should do live stream. So we should talk a little bit. We should code some simple application, not very complicated kind of thing. Just simple things. Okay. All right. So what I'll do first thing, on this UL we can have a class list unstyled. This class is going to come from Bootstrap. This is going to remove that indicator rounded dot from the timer names. If you see on before those timer names, the default behavior UL unordered lists. Okay, and we have this li. Inside this we have this timer name. On this thing we need to click, and now you can make it as a button and you can have some styling on this, or you can directly add that clickable thing on this app. It's up to you how you are doing. Okay, so let's do this. On this li we are going to have some first. Let's have px2. So on x-axis we are going to have two spacing from left and right, and py3 from top and bottom we are going to have padding of 3. So this px2 py3, on this we can have some background maybe. Let's see how it looks. Bg secondary, and here also we can make it a bit lighter. Style hyphen hyphen ps bg of space maybe 0, or maybe let's have same 0 point having on the main screen. All right, then on this li, if we have, okay, let's have some margin bottom mb3 as well, so that if we have multiple timers we are going to have some spacing between. Then when we tap on this li, here we have a method. We'll say private void, let's say select timer. This is going to be one of the timer from our list. What timer? The timer which we are clicking on. So that thing we'll get as a parameter to this method. Here we can say app timer. All right, and on this li we can simply at the rate on click equals at timer. Now we need to pass this app timer value, this current timer value to this. Here, if we do this, this is not how the things will work. This is we are generating the HTML. It will right away going to try to execute this. This is how we call this method. But here we are not calling this method. We are actually setting a callback on click. So when we click on this, then it should execute. Here we are going to add one lambda. So here we'll say this arrow, this lambda, use this select timer, and then we can this timer. So now it is not going to create this directly. It is going to be set as a kind of a variable, a callback variable. So when we click on this method, then it is going to execute this. Then we will have the select timer and we are going to timer value. Now we need to load this timer in our main screen. Main screen is our home, this section. Now selection is happening inside this timer section dot razor component, but we want that value in this dot razor, right? So these are two different components. Now we will have the component communication concept. Okay, so now if we see the hierarchy, home dot razor, this component is parent component, the timer section is a child component. So from parent to child, we use props, properties, and from child to parent, we use events. Okay. Here we are going to use Blazor specific way, and these are event callbacks. In Angular, we call these event emitters. In Vue, we call these emit. In React, we can simply have the functions, callback functions. So the concept is same for all the component based application architecture. Okay. So here we need to have that parameter. So for this, what we'll do, we'll define a parameter event callback. Okay. Here we can say select timer. Save it, or we can have the actual way, because if we see events are on click, right? On key press. Here if we see on key press. Similarly, we can have it as on select timer. Okay. Now this is a normal property of type event. But if you go to home and here if we try to access that, we cannot see anything. There is nothing in selection, because this is a normal property on this class, on this timer section component. We need to make it as a parameter so that whoever consuming this component, they can access this parameter. Change it to parameter. We are going to parameter attribute. Now when we add this parameter attribute, now if we go to the home dot trace, here if we do this, we'll say at the rate, or if we not say at the rate, we'll say this on. We can see this now on select timer. This is a property. We can say on select timer. We can have here we'll code. Here we can have any method, private void handle timer selection, or this name is up to you. We are going to call this here. Now it is saying something on select timer or tag helper time requires a value on select timer or contain. This is a false complete. False happens. We have provided this, not able to figure it out yet. But now if we see from here, we are calling the select timer, we are calling this select timer method. We need to trigger this event, right? So what we can do in this select timer method, we'll say simply on select timer dot, here we have invoke async. Now because this is a async method, we need to change this void to sync task. We need to have this await. Now because this is a single line, I usually follow this. I use expression body method. I'm going to have arrow and this await on select timer dot simple. Now if you see, there is one missing piece here. We are saying that whenever we are selecting a timer, we are calling this on select timer. From on select timer on parent side, we are getting it. But here we are not getting which timer we have clicked on, right? We need to get that. Right, sir, how much your config? I have 16 GB. Is also lesser for the RAM. So 8 GB, I don't think it is going. How especially going to be? At least needs 16 GB at least. Because Bootstrap are good for a .NET developer. Yes, it is same. Bootstrap is same. Wait, Nadeem. Okay, so let's continue. Now, what we need to pass this timer to parent. How can we pass it? We have this event callback, correct? We have one generic version of where we can provide the type which we want to pass, which we want to emit, which we want to raise or trigger send. Where we are going to say app timer. That means this event callback, whenever we are going to raise this event, we are going to pass app time. Okay. Now on this on select timer invoke async, we are going to have one more overloaded one. You see app timer argument. We can pass this timer as parameter. Now in home.razor, we are going to get app timer. So this will not directly work. Now this needs to have app timer parameter. Save it. Now we should be. Now we'll have this timer here because we are going to use it this page. So let's have a class level variable here. So we'll say private app timer. We can have it as nullable because initially we are not going to have any timers, right? So underscore selected timer. Then read time. Right? Then on this handle timer selection, we'll say selected timer this time. Right? This is also single line. We can directly use expression board. This is totally up to you. It's your choice. Some people follow the thing that this is not an expression, will be expression. Then only they change it to, but this totally depends on yourself or how you are doing to do it. I simply follow if the right hand side, if the body is fitting in single line, single statement, going to be chained link queue expression. So we are breaking it to multiple lines, but these are technically part of the single line. I simply follow arrow expression body. Alright, so we have this selected timer, which we can print here, which we can. So here, first, what we need to do, we need to have one check if this underscore selected timer is null. If this is null, we can simply have a p tag here or any tag. Here we'll say No timer is selected. Please select timer, start something like this. Then in else case, if that's not the case, that means we have this select timer. Then what we'll do, so now we can have h1, we'll try it later, where we can simply say at the rate underscore selected timer name. Save it, let's try to run. And we'll see if everything, all these things, the component communication, event callbacks, parameters, all these things, we are able to get the selected timers value from right hand side. On select timer tag helper element requires a value. Event callback cannot be empty or contain. What is the problem? This is not the value. Am I missing something here? Let's try to close the visit. Let me open it again. Timers. Okay, so are you guys still here or no? Is it getting bored? If you guys are still here, do let me in the comment if it is getting bored. I'm not very used to do this live stream. This is my first stream in my YouTube career. Still here. Okay. And now you see that error is not here. So this was simply false error. Now let's try to run the app again. We'll see if this is working the way we are expecting it to work. Oh, there is still some error. Inconsistent accessibility. All right, because all these are public. But this app timer internal. Public. Cool. Run it again. No, now what happened? We missed something. Missed semicolon. Try it again. Building. Build succeeded. Okay. Is here. You can see timer. No timer is selected. Please select a timer to start. Right now we don't have any timer. So let's create our first timer. First timer created. At least we can. We'll try to design. Click on it and we can see first. Second timer. Third timer. Fourth timer. This time add button. Let's try third timer with second timer. Second. That means the component communication is add these things. Next thing we need to work, we need to move this timer value to center of the screen. Good. After that, very good stream button. Here I got. Okay. Okay, so this is also I am also getting it's 10:36 p.m. for me. I usually go 10:30 was in which I was trying to start. I was going to see how this goes. Maybe I can stop it here and then we can continue building this time. Yeah, do this. I guess this is a lot. First stream discussed a couple of things. Then we have this nice simple application. We need to have a lot of things in here, but So I think we should stop it here, and then we should continue building this application in our next live stream. Okay, all right. So I guess that's all for this live stream. Thank you. You do. Thank you. So I guess that's all for this. Maybe we'll continue working on this. If you guys see this live stream as a video this on my YouTube, so please drop comments if you want me to continue this thing. Or yeah, we should continue. Actually, I like this symbol, so I have not built it, but this is going to solve very simple but genuine problem for me. I'm going to building it for myself, and I am keeping it as beginner friendly as I can. See, I'm explaining each and everything, the basic things as how the using namespaces are working, how to pass things here and there, all these component communication, parameter attribute, all these things. I'm trying to keep it beginner friendly so that it helps a lot of freshers, college students as well. Hmm. But Instagram, I'm not very active on Instagram. I don't know if I go to Instagram to learn something. If I want to learn something, I go to YouTube or maybe LinkedIn sometimes on Reddit, not on Instagram. Yeah, we can. Quick question: do you use a Mac for MAUI development? It is quite hard to set up VS Code for MAUI development. So, yes, use VS Code for MAUI development. And no, it is not hard to set up Mac for MAUI. So, because I have been using Windows for life for 13, 14 years, so I am very used to use the Windows. I'm very comfortable on Windows. What I do, I build on Windows, and after building entire application, I goes to Mac to test it on iOS simulator or Mac desktop app and try to fix the issues and gotchas on the Mac. So that's all what I do. I do my development on Windows, then move to Mac to test it out and fix Mac or iOS related. Okay, I am final year 8 SEM computing Java. FX. So what from where? What college? Yes, one. We have a video on how to deploy app Play Store and have to. I don't have any video yet to show apps to deployment Play stores. I have this in my list, but if you see on my video, I was quite busy for last couple of days. I have dropped any video for I think 1.5 or 2 weeks now. I'm going to create a project now. I'll do that. And you have considered streaming on Twitch too. I don't know actually. I am not comfortable. I have not done this. Maybe I actually liked this too. I like this live because here in recorded videos, what happens? I just keep on talking and I just keep building. No one is listening. Still, I am talking to myself. And but here, I can stop. I take up your question. I can see your live comments. It is good actually. I feel good about it. Maybe I can try Twitch also, but I have never used Twitch. I need to watch maybe some video tutorials how to use Twitch and all. Then that I see. I don't know some creator I saw they stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So we can do that, right? Maybe if that is the case, if that is easy to set up, I can try setting both these things up and try streaming both of these platforms. All right, because my system can run Java created demo technology dot. Yeah, 8 GB RAM is not good. Can work maybe for console application to from VS using VS Code. I don't know if Visual Studio actually going to, because it takes, I don't know, maybe 2 GB or 2.5 to 3 GB RAM when we start Visual Studio. It takes up without anything. If you're not doing anything with Visual Studio, it takes that much. Please just consider it. It is much better in terms of building. Just for streaming, you can stream on both Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. Okay, why I can try. Yeah. So I was not sure how this stream is going to be because I have not tried. As I already mentioned, this is but I like it. I can. All right. We talk about something else, or should we say goodbye now? See, if the people who join now in this stream, building. We are trying to build a simple desktop application using .NET Blazor hybrid, and this is going to be a very simple labeled timer, named timers app. So in this, we are going to have multiple timers which we can run simultaneously to track times on different activities. For me, this is a use case for me. What I do, I work for multiple clients on multiple projects. So I want to track my time on different things, whatever time I am spending. Okay, so this is not a fully fledged timesheet kind of thing. This is a simple basic thing that okay, I'm spending some time on this project. How much time on a daily basis? This is going to be simple application with a label named timers list, and then the main timer. We can tap on any timer. We can create new timers. We can simply start timer. We can navigate around those timers. All those timers we can run. But we are building here, and I am keeping it beginner friendly. Okay, so if you're fresher, if you don't have experience about this, so you're going to learn a lot of things related to Blazor. So we are using .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid, and I think only the persisting part, the saving the timers, values, and state in the database. This is going to be MAUI specific. Everything else is going to be the Blazor specific. So this is going to be a good start. For Blazor hybrid. Okay, yeah, I think that's all. We will please drop a comment if you are watching this live stream video after some time. Just drop me a comment. Want to join this? Should I continue building that label timer? Because I'm going to build it anyway. If you guys want it, I will build it live stream. If you guys don't want it, I will myself, because I'm going to use going to my use case. Just your channel. Thank you, Yashwant. Profession. Yeah, I love this as well. Okay, I think that's all. Right. Try to continue in live stream. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Bye bye. How to stop this? streaming from